I love y'all, man. You know, I ain't finding.
All the peoples of the earth are going to know that you're called by me, and they're going to be afraid of you. If we kept his commandment, what's the brother named George Floyd wouldn't have happened. You see how Jack just put more on his neck? The cat wasn't even scared. He knew on his man's neck. George Floyd is a real
Time to open up the pages, take another look. And just give me book. It's time to open up the pages, take another look. And just give me book. It's time to open up the pages, take another look.
That cost the market.
And just give me book.
It still won't right because you do.
It's time to open up the pages, take another look. And just give me a book. It's time to open up the pages, take another look. And just give me a book.
Peace. Shalom, 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 Mashapop. I pray that we can be heard. This is the Torah Group coming back to you with another Just Give Me Book. Let us know if the audio fades out or we're too low. We're using the web mic tonight. So if our voice are trailing off, just let us know if we can use the in-house mics. But we're going to continue our study tonight of the virgin birth. And again, our goal is not to tell you what to believe. Our goal is just to provide some information and let you do your own research. So hopefully tonight will be our last night, but y'all will be done. Y'all will be done. So we're going to jump right in because I want to finish this study tonight, because next week, y'all willing, I want to go into Thanksgiving because a lot of our people are still lost and celebrating a pagan holiday that's pretty much a victory over our people. So I want to finish this up tonight. So we're going to dive right in. Before we get into it, I'm your brother in arms, Abaya. To my right, I have my brother. He's going to introduce himself.
This is Shamaria.
And next to him,
Narayan.
So family, we're going to be your brothers in arms tonight, just guide you through this study. And again, this is just comparing pro-Joseph adherents positions against those of us who believe that Joseph was not the father of our Messiah, that we believe that the Most High himself brought forth our Messiah through the womb of Mary. So just to rehash, whether you're pro-Joseph or you're pro-Yah, this is not a salvation issue. What this is a high-level study, really trying to help the babes in this thing who are coming in and you're just soaking up different channels. We're trying to show you a different way to study the scrolls so you won't be indoctrinated and forced to swallow someone's opinion without examining the scrolls for yourself. So if you're pro-Joseph, this doesn't mean that you're going to hell. If you're pro-Yah, it doesn't mean that you're automatically saved. This is just a study to show you how to really dig in and dissect the scrolls for yourself. So you guys got anything to offer before we get into this? All right. All praises. So Yahshua, can we be heard? Is the audio clear? All praises to Water. So the last time we was together before the feast of Hanukkah, we were taking a look at textual criticism, and we left off with examining the phrase in Luke 1, and that phrase that Mary says, "Seeing I know not a man." She was asking the angel, how can this be, seeing I know not a man? And many pro-Joseph adherents, they hold the positions that this phrase, "seeing I know not a man," is not pointing to her virginity. It's pointing to she don't know a man of such great stature to bring forth this great son. And with textual criticism, we dug into our scrolls to show you that that phrase, "seeing I know not a man," it's indeed alluding to her virginity. Because if it's not pointing to her virginity, why would the angel follow up and tell her, explain to her just how it's going to happen? The angel tells her the Most High is going to overshadow you, overpower you. So if this phrase, seeing I know not a man, is not pointing to her virginity, then those pro-Joseph adherents got to explain, why did the angel go ahead and explain to her? Because if this phrase is pointing to she don't know a man of such great stature, well, she's already betrothed, she's already engaged to Joseph. So if this is not pointing to her virginity, we have to assume that this angel is going to break her betrothal to Joseph and unite her with some great man to bring forth this great son. And that position just doesn't make sense.
She dissing Joseph.
Yeah, she's going to diss Joseph. The angel told me that I got a better thing coming, so she's going to break off her engagement to Joseph and save herself for this great man. That makes no sense. That family, no matter how you dice it up, this phrase, seeing I know not a man, is pointing to her virginity. Because she's not going to break her engagement to Joseph. She's already met Joseph. She's already went through the engagement with Joseph. She is engaged to Joseph. So seeing I know not a man, family, we prove with the scriptures on your screen, that phrase, seeing I know not a man, is pointing to her virginity. So we're going to pick up from there with some more textual criticism. So can you take us to the book of John chapter 6, and we're going to pick it up at verse 41, because another position some of these pro-Joseph adherents says, they're going to say, everybody during that time knew that Mary and Joseph was his parents. So we should listen to those who were there, and according to their own statements, the people that were there knew that Joseph and Mary was his parents. So let's go take a look at this. John chapter 6, verse 41. Shema, read.
The Jews then murmured at him because he said, I am the bread which came down from heaven.
That's John 6. 41.
It's 42 is the one you probably have.
The son of Joseph.
Yeah,
verse 42.
You can start at 41 then. You can start at 41.
Yeah, that was it. It says, because he said, I am the bread which came down from heaven. Verse 42. And they said, is not this Jesus, quote unquote, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How is it then that he saith, I came down from heaven?
So the pro-Joseph adherents is going to take you to John 6 and 42. Excuse my typo. John 6 and 42. These are the Pharisees talking. These are the Talmudists. These are the Jews who would wind up killing him. So they say, see, people at the time knew that Mary and Joseph was his mother and father. They said it right here. Is this not Jesus, whose father and mother we know? And they say, see, we got y'all. But family, you have to be a critical thinker. You just can't lose all your I hate to use pagan terms, but you can't just forget all your deductive reasoning that you learned in school. These are Pharisees talking. These are Talmudists talking. So if the Pharisees say Joseph and Mary is his father, should we believe the Pharisees? Should we take, they didn't believe in him anyway. But let's go to John 1 and 45. Let's see if these Pharisees, these Talmudists knew what they was talking about. Let's see if they knew what they was talking about. John 1:45. Read.
Philip findeth Nathanael and saith unto him, we have found him of whom Mashah in the law and the prophets did write, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph.
The son of whom?
The son of Joseph.
The son of whom?
The son of Joseph.
I got you. Here's Nathan, one of his disciples, is telling the people, come look at Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. So they say, if anyone knew who his dad was, surely his disciples knew. And this Nathaniel is this Philip. Philip is coming running to Nathaniel, and Philip is saying, come on, Nathaniel, we found Jesus of Nazareth, son of Joseph. So the pro-Joseph adherents is going to take you to this verse and say, see, even his disciples knew that Joseph was his father. Family, we got to kick it. We got to keep it in context. Let's go back up, because we got Israelite teachers cherry picking just like Christians. We got Israelite teachers cherry picking just like Christians, and you have to read eat the whole scroll sometimes. Wait to this.
It's not even that difficult. Just like Mary was the mother to his other sons, Joseph's other sons, but he had a wife before her, but they still don't say that's. We do it now.
Yeah,
That's how we talk now.
we got Israelite teachers cherry picking verses just like Christians, but you're gonna run the Christians down for cherry picking. So John 1:45, Philip is saying, come on, we found Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. And these pro-Joseph adherents said, see, even his disciples knew who his dad was. Let's go back up a couple verses. Let's go to John 1:36.
And looking upon Jesus as he walked, he saith, behold, the Lamb of God.
The Lamb of who?
The Lamb of God.
So I ain't gonna take y'all through a lot tonight, but this is the most Salakia. This is Messiah's introduction to Israel. If you go back and read John chapter 1, John is introducing the Messiah to Israel. John has been baptizing people. Now here come Hamashiach, and John is saying, behold, the Lamb of God. This is the one I've been telling y'all about. So he's just being introduced to the nation. So you can't go down to John 1:45 and because Philip says, here's Jesus, the son of Joseph, and say, aha, the disciples knew that Joseph was his dad. Slow down. Let's be fair with the text. They're just finding out that he's in the nation. They're just starting to see his miracles. They're just starting to get introduced to Messiah. To give you a proof text, quote unquote, let's go to Matthew 16. Let's go to Matthew 16, and we're going to pick up at verse 13. Just because Philip says, we found Jesus, the son of Joseph, and they're going to say, even his disciples knew that Joseph was his dad. Slow down. Let's be Bereans. Let's be Bereans. Matthew 16, and we're going to pick up at verse 13. Shema.
When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?
What did he ask him out?
Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?
This is Matthew, and Matthew wrote his Basor first. Matthew wrote his letter first. And by Matthew chapter 16, Hamashiach has done miracles. He has healed people, and they're still wondering, who is he? Read on.
And they said, some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias or Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. Mm-hmm. He saith unto them, but whom say ye that I am?
He's asking, he's been working around Israelites. He's been healing the dead. He's done stretched the bread to fed 5,000 by now. And he's still saying, fellas, who is the city? Who is the people saying I am? And the disciple says, some say that you are John the Baptist. Some say that you are Elias coming back. And then he asks his disciples, but who do you say that I am? Read on.
And Simon Peter answered and said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God.
Who answered?
Simon Peter.
Only one disciple answered. And this is after he's been working around his fellow countrymen. So you can't go to John 1:45 and I don't even want to use their terms. I'm not going to use their terms. You can't go to John 1:45 and cherry pick that verse and say, see, Philip says he's the son of Joseph, and even his disciples knew that he was the son of Joseph. You can't do that. That's not being fair with the text. That's cherry picking. That's misleading people. Because during John chapter 1, he was just meeting the people. The people was just getting to know he is the Lamb. He is the Messiah. So Philip at that time didn't know who he really was. Even after he had healed people and did miracles, they still wasn't sure about who he was. Let's go to another proof text. Let's go to Luke. You got something up? Let's go to Luke 22:32.
I was just gonna do remind me though at the end. You remember a little while ago you had mentioned Mark chapter 4, how Yahshua was on the boat.
Come.
Just remind me then afterwards.
Okay. Let's go to Luke 22. Let me write that down because we get riled up. We've been forgot. Luke 22:32.
Luke 22, verse 32. But I have prayed for thee that thy faith fail not. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren.
Is this in red? So this is the king talking, right? Who's he talking to, family?
Peter.
So he's talking to Peter, Uncle Kapal, and he says, when you are converted, strengthen your brother. So when he asked his own disciples in Matthew 16, Peter was the only one answered that you are the son of the Most High. But he's still telling Peter, now he's about to be crucified, and he's telling Peter, Peter, when you are converted, go strengthen your brothers. What is Hamashiach saying, family? He knew Peter and them still didn't understand who he was.
Peter and them didn't believe he was who he said he was. So even though he said, you are the Christ, you are Hamashiach, they didn't believe it in their heart.
It was still like, I want to believe you're doing some great things, but Hamashiach, they didn't believe who he was until when?
Until he came back, Donnie.
So he resurrected, and who was doubting Thomas?
Thomas.
Thomas says, I ain't gonna believe till you show me your hands. And Hamashiach appeared and says, here, Thomas, touch my hands. So family, don't let these YouTube gurus, these Hebrew all-stars, cherry pick verses and get you to just be indoctrinated. You cannot cherry pick John 1:45 and says, see, Philip says he's the son of Joseph. Like Philip knew what was going on. The disciples didn't know. They didn't even know until the very end. And it was only a select few that continued the mission and knew who he really was. He had 70 that turned back. So family, John 1:45, you cannot isolate, you cannot cherry pick that verse saying that his disciples knew who he was. His disciples were not sure to the very end. Y'all got something about that?
That I was actually thinking about this the other day, so I'm going to make this comment. I'm not saying it's set in stone, but I wanted to ask y'all. I'll put it in the form of a question. Is it possible to worship something and not believe in it? The reason I ask that is because I was watching a video the day before yesterday or yesterday, and how they are starting to allow Satanism, like people to wear Satanist clothing in the public school system. And they say that it's against their rights, but they don't believe in Satan. They don't worship. They don't believe in Satan per se.
They don't, I mean, looking at it from a Hebraic perspective, they don't even understand what those terms mean.
Exactly.
Because for us in our community, in our nation, our worship is tied to everything we do. When we light the menorah, when we sacrifice and buy things for the bayah, when we pray for our brothers and sisters,
And that's
all a form of worship.
So that's what I was alluding to, because I started thinking about Peter. So even though he didn't necessarily believe in Yahshua at the time, he was still worshiping by being righteous and obedient.
Right.
So that's why the righteous will scarcely make it.
Right. He was still honoring his father and respecting the son, but he still wasn't sure. Mm-hmm. Remember, Peter was, I follow you to the end of the earth.
And because of him not believing, he couldn't profess his name.
He denied him 3 times. So when the rubber hit the road, when the heat got tough, Kappa denied him. So you can't just let people cherry pick verses and say, see, John 1:45, even his disciples knew that Joseph was his dad. Slow down. Let's get some understanding. Stop cherry picking verses. Let's eat the whole roll. So let's continue on. You had something, Shimoya?
No, just that, but he just didn't. It's kind of like he wasn't to the point where he was without a shadow of a doubt that he was ready to die for it. That's once he was ready to I seen this man return from the grave. Like, you just gonna have to kill me. That's when he was.
That's when he knew that. That's when you could say Kappa and Apostle knew. You can't, before his resurrection, you can't cherry pick a verse and say, see, his disciples knew Joseph was his dad. They wasn't sure who he was at that time, family. So let's move on. This is going to be heavy right here, family. We're going to deal with the prophecy, right? And we're going to break down this prophecy in Hebraic terms. So let's go to Isaiah, Yahshua 7 and 14. Let's go to Yahshua 7 and 14. Because this is the prophecy everyone tries to tie to the virgin birth. And y'all know how I say we're still Christians underneath. A lot of Israelites have tied this Isaiah prophecy to the virgin birth, but they've applied it incorrectly. And with the power of Hamashiach tonight, hopefully we can bring some clarity to this parallel. So let's read Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14. Shema. Read.
Therefore Yahweh himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel.
So this is the prophecy that Matthew quoted and alluded to. And so many people, and I confess, we're all learning, so it's nothing wrong with admitting you got something wrong and you change your position. We're sons of slaves, so there's no pride here. So Isaiah 7 and 14 is when they say, see, the virgin birth was prophesied here. And then the pro-Joseph adherent is going to show you that when you dig deep into this prophecy in Isaiah, well, Isaiah's wife wasn't a virgin. And they're going to say, see, Isaiah's wife wasn't a virgin because Isaiah had other sons. And just like Isaiah's wife wasn't a virgin, Mary wasn't a virgin. And all of this is what you would call exegeting. You're drawing a conclusion that the text doesn't say. So let's be Bereans and let's show you, let's go to Isaiah 8. Let's go to Isaiah 8 and I pick it up at verse 3 if you would. Isaiah 8 verse 3. Read.
And I went unto the prophetess and she conceived.
I did what?
I went unto the prophetess and she conceived.
So if we're going to be Bereans, if we're going to be fair and objective and we're not trying to indoctrinate and twist scriptures like tassels, Isaiah is saying, I went in unto the prophetess and she conceived. So if you want to try to mirror the prophecy in Isaiah 7 and 14, you got to show me that language with Mary and Joseph. Mm-hmm. You won't find where Joseph went in unto Mary and she conceived. So you have to be careful how you pull and cherry pick verses. I'm going to show you why Matthew, well, let's go ahead and read it for the family. Let's go to Matthew 1 and show you where Matthew alluded to this. Matthew 1, was it 23, is it? Mm-hmm. Matthew 1 and verse 23. Shema, read. Behold,
a virgin shall be with child.
Oh, I'm sorry, SELAH. Can you go back up to verse 22?
Now, the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 22. Now, all this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of Yahweh by the prophet Isaiah, saying, Behold, a virgin shall be with child and shall bring forth a son. And they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us.
Hallelujah. So, mind you, family, Matthew is recording this after the fact. He's done walk with Messiah. He's done talk with Messiah. So he's not writing this as Mary is giving birth. He's done talk with the other apostles, and they all was like, that's what Isaiah was pointing to. So Matthew is not prophesying. He's done talked to the Messiah. He's done talked to other brethren, and they all have put it together. That's what Isaiah was pointing to. But Christianity has us focusing on the birth. Christianity has us focusing on the women. And now the brothers, the Israelite brothers, the pro-Joseph is going to focus on the women and say Isaiah's wife wasn't a virgin and Mary wasn't a pure virgin. And doing that, they're showing that underneath they're still Christians, because that's not what the prophecy was about. Let's go show you what the prophecy was about. Let's go back to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 7, and can you pick it back up at verse 14? Read.
Therefore, Yahweh himself shall give you a son. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good.
Pay attention to this verse 16, family.
For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings.
The Most High is promising the children of Judah, before this child, before Isaiah's son learns to speak, I'm going to break down Syria. I'm going to break down your enemies who's threatening to come get you. So the Most High is using the son. The Most High is using Isaiah's son as a sign. It's a sign that I'm still with you. And let's get confirmation. Let's go over to verse Isaiah 8, and let's pick it up at verse 4. Isaiah 8 and 4. Shema, read.
For before the child shall have knowledge to cry, my father and my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria shall be taken away before the king of Assyria.
So Isaiah's prophecy in Isaiah 7 and 14, family, it had nothing to do with Isaiah's wife at all, about her virginity or lack of it. The prophecy, the sign was the child. The Most High says this child is going to be a sign, an oath that I'm still with you, because before Isaiah's son can speak, I'm going to bring down Syria. So it had nothing to do with sex at all. And the same thing with men. Now let's go back to Matthew. So Isaiah 7 and 14, the Most High promises this child is going to be a sign, and the sign is going to be, before this child can speak and walk and talk, I'm going to destroy your enemies. Now let's go to Matthew, right? It says Matthew alludes to Isaiah, but family, y'all help me out. We all workmen here. We're all soldiers. When Hamashiach was born, what did the Most High do for the nation? What did he do for the nation when Hamashiach was born? Did he do anything? Did he get Rome out of the office? Did he kill any? Did he kill Herod? So if the Messiah didn't do SELAH, if the Most High didn't do anything when Hamashiach was born, but his birth is supposed to be a sign, because Matthew says this child, this birth is a sign. He's going to be known as God is with us. Well, how is Messiah going to be known as God is with us if the Most High don't do anything? It has to be the way he got here. That's textual criticism that these pro-Joseph adherents are not giving you. So when you try to marry Isaiah 7:14 to the Messiah's birth and say, see, Isaiah's wife wasn't a virgin and Mary wasn't a virgin, that's the Christianity in you still trying to focus on the women. It had nothing to do with the women. The sign was Isaiah's son, before he talked, I'm going to destroy your enemies. The sign of Messiah's birth, a woman who hasn't had sex with a man is going to bring forth a child. And that's going to be confirmation I'm still with you. It had nothing to do with her sex, or her virginity or her lack of it, family. These brothers are twisting scriptures.
So
go ahead, Al.
If in Isaiah it's saying a virgin shall give birth, if they're going to come from the stance and perspective that Isaiah's wife wasn't a virgin, are they, in a sense, it's like they calling the Most High a liar?
Calm, because we know Matthew didn't tie this parallel on his own. He's done seen the Messiah, he's done talked to the Messiah, and he talked to the other disciples. So he didn't come up with this parallel on his own. So if the Most High says, I'm going to give you a sign, this child is going to be known as Yah is with y'all. So if Yah didn't do anything when Messiah was born, where's the sign? And then furthermore, when Mary and Joseph took him into the temple and that elder held them up, how would that elder know that this child was a sign and he was the one? Because he says this child is set up for the rise and fall of many in Israel. If Messiah came through Joseph and like regular birth like the rest of us, how would that elder know that this baby was a sign? This is textual criticism these brothers are not giving the people. So that's what Isaiah 7:14 and Matthew 1:23, family, is tying together, that the children, the babies were the sign, not the sex and not the lack of sex, the virginity or lack of virginity. It had nothing to do with the women. The sign was on the babies, if that makes sense.
If that's the case, we still waiting on the Messiah.
If his birth wasn't a sign, we got to be waiting on a new sign to come. This is the textual criticism these pro-Joseph adherents are not giving the people. They're just running with their elders' doctrine, their captain's doctrine. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to throw nobody under the bus. But you're not applying textual criticism to the text, and you're just running with man-made doctrine. Messiah's birth was a virgin birth because that was the sign that Yah is still with the nation of Israel. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So, Yahshua, Abishai, y'all got something y'all want to add? Y'all could be a part of this too. Y'all part of the family too.
Yeah. I believe, or as we see now, or as we've been seeing, period, when you do textual criticism, it's so important to not just read into what's being said, but also the setting, time period, how long this person has been around this person, and what stage in life is this certain person is. And that's when you're able to decipher all this stuff. Instead of just skimming through the scriptures or reading through the scriptures, you're actually reading the text and you're reading who that person is and where they are in their life, or what city, where were they born, what time period were they born, what captivity is this. When you put all that stuff together, it can be broken down the way the Most High wants us to see. But when you don't want to do that, then you know you have been blinded, or your mind is blind, like the scripture says. It's not people's eyes, it's their mind that's blind.
Yes, that's what Abaj always say. You got to kick it, keep it in context. And when you can answer the who, what, where, when, why, and sometimes how, that's what makes everything make sense.
Calm.
It's like when they, like you said, of course, cherry picking, but it's like people try to take your ability to think and use reasoning around the totality or the whole of the situation. Like they take the part out. Let me see if I can give a good example. When they say, ain't that Jesus or Yahushua, the son of Joseph? Of course, on the outside, like, let's say if I'm, in the town, Jerusalem, and I know you, we friends, or maybe I just know you.
Right.
You're always with Joseph, your mom, and your brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. Who wouldn't think that that's your father? He is your father, But that don't mean that he's your biological seed father, if that makes it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then, like Abishai is saying, this is a period in our nation when no one is fasting and praying anymore. Like only a minority, like Luke and Elizabeth, they remain holy. But for the bulk of our nation, everyone is following the Pharisees, and some are even continuing to follow Greek and Roman idol worship. Mm-hmm. So for a Philip being a disciple, and he just got picked, for him to say, "We found Jesus, the son of Joseph," that don't hold no weight. Mm-hmm. That has no. He just got picked to be a disciple. That means he's full of sin because Matthew was a tax collector. So you can't cherry pick, and you got to, like Abishai says, you got to keep the time period and the locale. Everything comes in play. Too many brothers, like we're going over Shabbat with this uprooting Christianity. Too many brothers, Israelites and Christians, are opening up these Bibles and teaching on the surface. And he just said Jesus was the son of Joseph. It's right here. I'm giving you book. It says it right here. What publisher are you reading from? Who was the last to edit these letters? And did this Israelite have understanding? And of course, we know Philip didn't have understanding because Comparative, who was real close to Hamashiach, even Peter didn't have understanding until the very end. All these things you got to keep in mind, family. So thank you for that, Ox. So let's move on to this phrase, family, that has been twisted like a French braid. Came together. So the pro-Joseph adherents, and I watched a couple breakdowns over the years, maybe like 4 or 5 by now. And they all use the same logic. They all use the same positions. So when they say before they came together, the pro-Joseph adherents is going to say, this is not talking about them having sex. This is talking about them before they came together for their ceremony. And it's like, you have to give me an explicit text. Because if you can't show this is where they came together before their ceremony, you're just making stuff up. You're adding things to the text. If you can't show me a black and white that says this came together, is referring to before their ceremony, you're making things up. Not only that, like we said earlier, the logic is off when the angel has to explain to Mary how it's going to happen. Your logic is off. But let's go a little deeper and let's kick it. Let's keep it in context. So let's read the verse out, Matthew 1:18. Come on, read.
Now the birth of Yahushua Mashiach was on this wise, when as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Spirit.
So Matthew 1:18, it says before they came together. And in your KJV and most of your modern translations out there, it's going to say before they came together. And before they came together has been twisted, and the translation is making it easy to twist this phrase up. So they're going to say, nah, this is before they came together for their ceremony. Can you read Matthew 1:19?
Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man and not willing to make her a public example.
What kind of man?
A just man.
And what? I mean, none of us are scholars. We all just waking up and we're doing the best we can. We're soldiers. What would you say just? Like, how would you define being a just man in Israelite terms?
Righteous.
A
lawful man.
Lawful man. So the text says Joseph was a just man, lawful man, but he's going to sleep with his wife before they consummate the marriage. Again, these people's logic is off. You can't read verse 19. He was a just man, but he slept with Mary before the ceremony. And then let's take it down to verse 25.
Verse 25. And knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Yahushua.
Knew her not again.
And he knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Yahshua.
You got to explain this. You have to explain. If Joseph is a just man and he's about to put this woman away because, and this is the, he slept with this woman. He impregnated this woman and he's going to put her away in private, but he's a just man. The pro-Joseph adherents, you have to explain this. How can he be a just man about to put this woman away in private instead of going and confessing his sin to the Sanhedrin, to the elders? Because you cannot, you're not supposed to sleep with your bride before you consummate the marriage. So this is where they twisted stuff at. So let's get it again. Let's go to Luke 2 and 4. Let's get it Luke 2 and 4. And this is when you got to be a Berean. This is when you got to kick it.
Shema.
Luke 2 and 4. Read.
And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David.
He's a Jew,
To be taxed, continue, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child.
Hold on. His what wife?
His espoused wife.
And she was what with child?
She was great with child. She was very pregnant.
She was very pregnant. She's about to burst. And the text, Luke is still saying espoused. Now, for the second time, I ain't going to take y'all there, but you can look up any lexicon. And you look up that word espoused in any lexicon, it's going to tell you promised to be, engaged. So Luke, who is writing after Matthew, now Mary is big and pregnant, and they're still not married. She's espoused, she's engaged, she's promised to Joseph. You got to explain that. You have to explain that. These Israelite elders are twisting texts to fit your doctrine. But you're a holy man of the Most High. You got to explain this. How is Joseph a just man, and how is Mary great with child, but they're still espoused and not married? You got to explain this. Stop being deceitful. Stop twisting the text. But let's deal with this phrase. We're going to deal with it. We're going to deal with it. So,
You guessed it.
all of you can go online, go on your handy dandy Google and type in the Hebrew Gospel of Matthew. This was translated by, I believe he was an Israelite. I'm not sure. He could have been a Khazar, but his name is Shem Tov. Shem Tov. SHEMTOV or TOB, depending on the website. But this Dr. George Howard, he translated into English. And what this is a Hebrew copy of Matthew's letter. And the reason why I love this record, on one side it has the Hebrew, and the other side it has the English. I want to read to you how this Talmudist wrote about the birth of Hamashiach. Now, when I say Talmudist, he is a descendant of the Jews, of the Israelites who killed Messiah. He is a rabbinic Jew. He is a non-messianic Jew. And let's read how he wrote about Messiah. So this is Matthew chapter 1. And can you read verse 18 for us in the Hebrew copy?
The birth of Jesus was in this way. It came to pass when his mother was betrothed to Joseph, before he knew her.
Say what?
Before he knew her.
Wait a minute. What? Say what?
It came to pass when his mother was betrothed to Joseph.
Engaged.
Before he knew her.
Let me stop. Go on. I'm trying to think. We got to make light of this, but these how these YouTube all-stars are beguiling people. And this virgin birth is just a tip of the iceberg, how they're beguiling babes in this thing. People are coming back trying to latch onto our heritage, latch onto our truth, and you got these wolves in sheep clothing beguiling people. So we got to make light of it, but it's not a game. Read on out.
She was found pregnant by the Ruach, or the set apart spirit. Joseph was a righteous man and did not wish to dwell with her, nor to expose her by bringing her to shame.
Wait a minute. Stop right there. Joseph is a righteous man, but don't want to dwell with her, and he done knocked her up? What sense does that make? That makes no sense. How is Joseph a righteous man? You done impregnated her before your ceremony, but now you want to get away from the crime.
If anything, it will also show how he was not involved with Mary being impregnated, because him being a righteous man, he was like, all right, well, I know I ain't have sex with her. I'm just going to put her away. That way I'm separated from whatever she got going on.
That's truly a righteous man. I know I didn't do this, Mary, but I know if I report you, they're going to kill you. If I report you to the Sanhedrin, they're going to stone you to death.
And your baby going to die.
And your baby going to die. So whoever did this to you, I don't want to know about it. I'm going to put you away privately, because it did happen on my watch. So I would get in trouble too. So that's how Joseph is righteous. He said, I didn't touch you, but I ain't going to expose you and bring all kind of shame on you and your parents. I'm going to put you away somewhere in private. But for those pro-Joseph adherents to read that Joseph is a righteous man, and now he's going to put Mary away in private, you got to explain that. But this Hebrew text tells you in plain English, before he knew her, meaning before he met her, before they introduced?
Before he knew her.
So again, family, that phrase, before he knew her, that's not talking about before he got introduced to her. That's a euphemism for sex. Before Joseph went into Mary, she was found pregnant of the Ruach HaKadosh. And Joseph didn't understand what happened. All Joseph knew, this is not my baby, and I could get you killed, but I don't want to see you killed. I'm going to put you away privately. This is a Hebrew copy of Matthew that you can download free of charge on the internet. How our brother Benaiah Israel said, but wait, there's more. Sorry about that, Slocky. Here's another translation free of charge. You can go to type in this title, and at the end of it, put in archive, archive.org. And you could download this as a free PDF. This is a Syriac copy of the New Testament. It has all the 4 Gospels. That's all this has. This just has a copy of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And what they did, it was translated from Aramaic. Aramaic is Hebrew. Don't let them mess with your mind. Aramaic is Hebrew. It's just another dialect. Those up northern Israel, they would pronounce words a little differently than us Jews in the South. But Aramaic is Hebrew. So we're going to read the same, Yeah, we're from the South side. We're Judah's from the South side, but this is Hebrew, family. So I keep doing that. And this is this woman, she translated this. Her name is Agnes Smith Lewis. She got letters behind her name, so she must be important with the school and all this stuff. So you can see it was published over in London. You can see the publisher, and the year is 1894. This is translated from Aramaic, family. This is an Aramaic copy of the New Testament.
I think you can press the right arrow.
I was thinking about it.
So this right here, we're going to read just the introduction. This is the introduction that he's writing. Can you read that for us out?
The fact that Joseph was troubled about Mary's condition is simply inexplicable if he were the father of Yahshua or Jesus.
Can you read that again out?
The fact that Joseph was troubled about Mary's condition is simply inexplicable if he were the father of Jesus. It's inexplainable. It is you can't, because it doesn't make any sense.
Come on.
That was the biggest, one of the biggest things for me is that I said you can't explain this away. If I'm righteous, I could put this out there for my people on Twitter. If I sleep with a woman, get her pregnant, and then say, I'm gonna put you away. What am I putting you away for? What am I troubled about if it was mine?
It's mine. I didn't break any laws because I'm righteous. And that's how the pro-Joseph here spin it. You can sleep with your woman while you're engaged to her. Why is Joseph troubled by this? Why? You have to explain this, family. If your teacher, your minister, your rabbi, your captain, your Rebbe, whoever you are learning from, if they're so high and pious where you can't ask them questions without being embarrassed and ridiculed, that's the wrong assembly that you're under. No teacher is high and mighty where if they ain't got holes in their hands, you should be able to ask them questions until you understand. If you don't understand, maybe down the road they have some more evidence, but no one should ridicule you or undermine you or belittle you because you're asking them questions that counter their positions. But these pro-Joseph adherents, you have to answer, why is Joseph puzzled by Mary being pregnant? And then the angel had to appear to him and say, Joseph, don't be, how do you use it? What's the term you use in the New Testament? Don't be alarmed. The thing conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. If Joseph did it, he wouldn't know. The angel wouldn't have to tell him it's of the Holy Spirit. Joseph would have known, I did this. If we're using logic, it would have made more sense for Joseph to be crying and praying for forgiveness, and then the angel appears to say, Joseph, don't worry about it. This was done in order that such and such, such and such. But Joseph is bewildered, like, why would she do this to me? She knows what's going to happen to me and her. And the angel had to tell Joseph that thing conceived in her is of the Most High. So you pro-Joseph adherents, you got to explain why Joseph is confused, why Joseph had to have the angel tell him, don't worry, Joseph, it's going to be okay. And then Matthew 1:25, the text says, he knew her not till she brought forth her firstborn son, not his firstborn son or not his son. He knew her not till she brought forth her firstborn son. So let's get this out of the Syriac family. This is Matthew chapter 1, and please pick it up again at verse 18.
But the birth of the Christ was on this wise. Mm-hmm. When Mary, his mother, was espoused to Joseph,
engaged,
when they had not come near one to the other.
What you say?
They had not come near one to the other. When they had not come near one to the other, she was found with the child of the Holy Ghost, or the set-apart spirit.
When they had not come near one to another, do we have to break that down, family? Read on.
Then Joseph, her husband, because he was just, did not wish to expose Mary, and was minded quietly to put her away. But while he thought on these things, Malach, the angel of Yahweh, appeared to him in a vision and said unto him, Joseph, son of David, you Jew, fear not to take Mary thy wife, for that which is begotten from her is of the set apart spirit.
That which you impregnated in her,
that which is from her is of the set apart spirit. And she shall bear to thee a son.
So you're going to be responsible for raising this son up, but it's not yours. Read on.
And thou shalt call his name Yahushai, or transliterated to Jesus. For he shall save his people.
The world.
He shall save his people from their sins.
Family, here's a second witness. Here's a second witness. And I don't want to offend anyone trying to make light of this, but I've been around for a minute seeing these teachers with huge congregations just twisting people's mind and playing games with people's minds. So that's why I'm trying to get just keep a light heart about this, but I really want to go just rip these people to shreds and expose these teachers. But we got enough division in Israel, so I don't want to mention any names in any assemblies. But these people are deceiving the Most High's children, and you're not being honest with the text. I don't know what reason you have against the virgin birth, but if you're being objective, let's be objective. Let's be Bereans. This text says in black and white English, and it was translated from Aramaic, before, when they had not come near one to another, when they had not come near one to the other, she was found with child. You got to explain this. Now, let me show you how. I want to mention his name so bad, fam. Y'all pray for me right now, please. This elder in the community, a huge following, going live 2 or 3 times a week with thousands of views. He read from this. I got this from his channel. He read from this. His reader read from this. And as his reader is reading from this, and he was so arrogant, he said, let me blow it up. I'm like, yeah, blow it up. And he went down, and family, he went down and read. Can you start right there, right here?
Mary, thy wife, for that which is begotten from her is of the set apart spirit. And she shall bear to thee a son.
He stopped right there. This elder went and cherry picked and says, and she shall bear thee a son. And he's saying the angel is telling Joseph that don't worry, Joseph, what you did, what you and Mary did, it was ordained by the Most High. And I'm looking at the screen like, I know his reader is going to tell him like, excuse me, elder, if you go back up a couple of verses, it's right on your screen, but you're cherry picking one little phrase. And I'm like, I'm looking around, am I being punked? This elder been teaching for years. You pull this excerpt and you think it's important that Joseph is the dad because you cherry pick a verse, but right in verse 18, it says, when they had not come near one to the other. This is what we got going on in this awakening. We got these teachers, backdoor teachers and sideline preachers trying to grow their ministry and their assemblies and want clicks and views, cherry picking verses to twist people's mind. How you pull this as a witness that Joseph was a daddy, and a couple lines up it says they had not come near one another? My heart is for the unlearned. My heart is for the unlearned who's being deceived. Be a Berean and don't be scared to question anybody. If that teacher's so pious where you can't question him, find another teacher. So you can write this website down, family. We're going to go to this website, and this is another website. I hope y'all sitting down for this. This is another website where they have a copy of the Peshitta. The Peshitta is the New Testament in Aramaic. You can find the Old Testament too in Aramaic. We're going to go to this website, and y'all willing, if I can remember, I'll put this website in the comment section when we upload this to YouTube. We're going to compare some texts of Matthew. So let me do this. So far we got 2 witnesses, the KJV, no, 3. The KJV, the Hebrew copy, and now this Aramaic copy saying Joseph didn't touch Mary. So let's go to the website. We got to go through all this research because people lying. People want to be superstars and lie on the text. And the Most High just be exposing this stuff.
That's realistically, that's mercy, because he could just kill him and get him out of here.
Huh? So this is a website you can go to, family, and I'll share the link inside the comments. But this site right here, family, is going to compare the Peshitta. And what I like about this site, family, you can click how many versions of Matthew you want. So I got Matthew right here. You click on here, and it's Matthew, all the chapters of Matthew. Then it continues with Mark. So all the Gospels are here. All the Gospels are here. The whole New Testament is here, right? So we're just going to examine Matthew 1. But let me show you how cool this site is, right? this site, these tools here, you can click, see I got Hebrew click. So I go down here and load verses. Watch this. And you see right here, you see the Hebrew there? But I untick this. So watch when I load verses. I load the verses, now the Hebrew went away, right? So there's 3 copies, there's 3 translations right here of Matthew. Y'all see that? And they broke it down by the verse. So what you do, you can untick these. You can untick all these, and then it's load verses. And you see how they all went away? So we're gonna examine Dr. John W. Etheridge, his translation of the Peshitta, Dr. James Murdoch, his translation of the Peshitta, and this George Lamsa. And then just for giggles, we're going to take Hebrew again. For those of you learning Hebrew, know Hebrew. And if you wanted to, if you knew Greek, you could type in the Greek. I'll do this for you while we're here. You could type in all these Greek translations and then hit load. Or let's throw in old Syriac while we're here and hit load verses. And you see, here's the Hebrew, here's the Syriac. You see all the Greek here. So this website, you definitely want to go bookmark this website. But let me untick all this and just concentrate on what we came for, right?
Can you make it bigger?
I'm gonna try once we get down to what we need. It even got some French here, some Dutch, Spanish Bible. We don't need that. So I'm gonna load verses. And now we got 3 different translations, including the Hebrew, of the book of Matthew. So I'm gonna go down to Matthew 1 and what was it, 18? And I'll try to make it bigger. So this is Matthew, how to look out.
Small, there. Get that.
All right, so this is Matthew 1 and 18 from 3 different translations of the Peshitta. 3 different translations of the Peshitta. Can you read that? I'll just scroll over while you read them.
The green one?
Yeah, the green one.
Now the nativity of Yahshua the Messiah was thus. While Miriam, his mother, was betrothed to Joseph, before they could be consociated, she was found to be with child from the Spirit of holiness. So this first translation of the Peshitta says, before they could be consociated. Now, I'm not going to insult your intelligence. Y'all all can click on that and pull up that word. Y'all want to do it just for giggles. You want to type in that word while we're recording. But I'm pretty sure we all, with the school, we know what the context of this is saying. This is just the first one, right? Before they could be consociated, she was found with child. Get anything? According to DuckDuckGov, to bring or come into friendly or cooperative association.
Say that a little louder. What DuckDuckGov says?
Consociate, to bring or come into friendly or cooperative association. As a noun, it can be an associate or a partner, or an associate, a partner, or a companion, a confederate also.
So,
and one more.
Go ahead, Al.
To bring into alliance, confederacy, or relationship.
Or what?
Relationship.
Here's another translation of the Peshitta telling you before Joseph and Mary consociated, had relationships, she was found with child. Okay, let's just read on. Let's go to the next one. The second one.
And the birth of Yahushua the Messiah was thus. While his mother Mary was betrothed to Joseph, before they co-inhabited.
Before they did what?
Before they had cohabited.
Now, all of us, we don't need no definition of that, right? All of us went to school, right? I know my numbers, right? Read on.
She was found to be with child by the set apart spirit.
The second translation of the Peshitta is saying before they cohabited. That's black and white, family. So let's get the third one. SELAH. The third one.
The birth of Yahshua HaMashiach was in this manner. While Mary, his mother, was acquired for a price for Joseph.
Family, what's that mean, acquired for a price?
He said it.
Pay the dowry, engaged, betrothed. She was acquired for a price. Read on.
Before they came together, she was found with child of the set apart spirit.
Here's the third witness, and all these translations were by different men. All these translations were by different men. So we use Dr. John. Y'all respect their education. The first one was Dr. John Etheridge. The second was Dr. James Murdoch. He got Bibles out there too. He's big in the Christian community. And the third was Dr. George Lamza. These three men found the Aramaic Peshitta, and they all translated before they had sex. If one of these translations was wrong, if someone was being deceitful, one of these good doctors would have caught the other mistakes, because these men, they love notoriety. They love to upstage their colleagues. All of these men are saying the same thing. If you want to learn Arabic or Aramaic, you'll find out the same thing. The Aramaic copies of the scriptures agrees with the King James. Before they came together, Mary was found with child. Joseph didn't know what to do because it wasn't his. It wasn't his. So another good thing about this site, y'all see these links on the side here? Watch this link on the side here. Can y'all see this? Is it populating? We're going to click on It's Your Dad of Merv. It's Your Dad of Merv.
Ashdod.
Can you start with that second paragraph?
What is this that Joseph, her husband, was a just man and was not willing, but was minded to privily? For in what was Joseph seen to be just? For either he knew the virgin to be holy or to be corrupted.
Same thing we was just saying. This Ashdod of Merv, he lived in the 950 era, 950 AD. He wrote commentaries on the Aramaic, Old Testament, New Testament. He's asking the same question we're asking. How can the text say Joseph was just, but he's going to put her away privately? Either he knew she was holy and he didn't want them to taint that child, or he knew she was guilty. You got to answer for the text. Read on.
And if she were holy, she was not deserving to be sent away, but kept and cherished. And if she were corrupted, it was right to expose her and to reprove her.
If Joseph was a just man and Mary had committed whoredom in Israel, he was supposed to report her, because there should be no whores in Israel. So Joseph not reporting her, you're going to allow another man to marry this whore. So Joseph can't be just if he's going to put her away, knowing she committed adultery. You see how you got to understand our culture? These super brews, these Hollywood all-stars around here twisting text. Joseph is not the father of Hamashiach. Joseph is indeed a just man, and he was in a conundrum. What should I do? My heart, because I got compassion, because I'm a righteous man, I don't want to see this young girl get killed. But I know I didn't touch this girl. That's how he's righteous. These brothers around here twisting up scriptures.
You also can kind of see how, even though Joseph was the father, he wasn't the father. Because where's that precept that said when Yahushua was saying, I'm here to do my father's business?
Come.
And everybody knew Joseph was like, boy, don't listen to me.
You don't listen to me.
Boy, don't listen to me.
This is the textual criticism these brothers are not giving. Let's finish that up.
Nevertheless, Joseph was just and merciful. His justice antagonized his mercy, and his mercy his justice. For his justice oppressed him that he should not allow an adulterous woman, an adulteress within his house. And his mercy counseled him that he should send her away privately.
So the just part, you can't stay here now. Hey, listen, you ain't bringing no condemnation on my house. You done committed adultery. Mary, you got to get out of here. But my mercy, I'm going to take you somewhere privately and let you have this bastard child in private. That's what's going on in Joseph's mind. And that's why the Most High had to send a malach, an angel, to tell Joseph, relax. This thing in her is conceived of the Most High. She's going to bring forth a son. He's going to save y'all people, the Israelites, from their sins. And he's going to be known as a great man. And then after she has this son, then you can take her to be your wife and consummate this deal. That's what's going on, family. Y'all got something y'all want to add? Finish that up.
Because he knew that he would deliver her to death if he exposed her. Therefore, he thought of merely sending her away, and that privately, that is, on the one hand, because he would not transgress the law by living with a guilty woman, and on the other hand, as he had compassion on her, he knew that if she were exposed, she would be liable for death.
Family, this virgin birth debate is not new. It's not new. Since he came out the womb, the Pharisees and those Talmudic Jews was tainting his reputation. So you and I in pagan year 2021, about to be pagan year 2022, we're not doing nothing new. But what I am trying to do is teach you how to be Bereans, not to be starstruck with these YouTubers because they use all these fancy words. We just showed you how this brother pulled this document and he still cherry-picked the document and didn't read the phrase that says before they had came near one another. You got to do your own homework. There's no free lunch in this awakening. If you allow yourself to be God, shame on you. Question everybody. I don't care who it is. So let's go back to the presentation.
Salakia.
Go ahead.
I got that precept in Uriah pulled out. Luke 2. I'm gonna start at verse 49 and 50. In the context of it is, Mashiach went missing as a young child. Mary and Joseph went to look for him, and they found him in the temple talking with the teachers. And starting at verse 49 of Luke 2, and he said unto them, how is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my Father's business? And they understood not the saying that he spake. So if they actually, we'll bring it back up to verse 48. And they saw him, and they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, my son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. So right there is telling you that Mashiach, being about his father's business, telling you that, Joseph ain't my blood, or Joseph isn't my father. He just the father figure that pretty much is there in the house physically.
Because if he was about his father's business and Joseph was his father, he would have been with his father in the caravan. Now, Yahshua, because these pro-Joseph adherents, they pull this verse and they twist it for their position, saying, you see, they didn't know what he meant because Joseph was the dad, and it was like, your father's been with me, so what you mean you're about your father's business? And that's them twisting and cherry-picking the verse. Can you drop down to the verse that it says, and Mary pondered on these things?
Verse 51. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was subject unto them. But his mother kept these sayings in her heart.
Say what?
But his mother kept these sayings in her heart.
If Mary knew Joseph was the dad of this boy, why would she keep the sayings in her heart? She would be like, this immature boy don't know what he's talking about. But she kept it in her mind because she knew, well, Joseph ain't the dad, and he's saying something deep, because this is a witness to what I said last week or before we broke. Mary ain't thinking when she got to him. She's a mother. She's worried. It's been 3 days she went backtracking looking for her only son. So when she finds him, she ain't thinking, yeah, you're here doing the work of the Most High. No, she's like a mom. I should smack fire at you, boy. You put us through all this hell. And then he says, I must be about my father's business. And then it says, Mary pondered these things. If Joseph was the dad, it wouldn't be nothing to ponder over. You see how these brothers twist text? These brothers twist text, and I pray the Most High break their teeth. That's what I pray. Tired of this, man. I'm tired of it. So now, family, thank you for that, Yahshua. Abishai, you had anything?
I'm tired of this, man. Yeah. I get where you're coming from, because we've been lied to long enough. And shoot, we ain't even gotta even say other people, even by our own people, because we do what we do as a people, and we're more influenced by each other than anybody else. But I understand where you're coming from. The doctrines and the teachings, it needs to be set straight, because the reason why is because we all know it literally means life, death, gift, curse, blessing, malediction. There is no in between. Either you're going to live or you're going to die, and we're going to live or die by the teaching and the word that's being given. So I understand where you're coming from, and the passion that you feel, and the fact that we need to get this right, because we got to get out of here and we got to live. And we are even narrowing it down. I'll say myself, I want to live forever so I can give the Most High his honor and due praise forever. Not just because I want to live forever and see everybody else. He is the one that's deserving above absolutely everybody. How long does he have to wait until everything is set in order, even though he knows the end result, and he can literally see it anytime he wants to? But shoot, it's about him, and then everybody else is subsidiary to that. So he is the one that's deserving for all this stuff to be set straight, because it's his name, it's his reputation, everything belongs to him, and this has to be set straight and done right. So I feel your passion.
The water will bar for that. And what's really frustrating to me is this virgin birth. It doesn't take away from the Messiah. So why are you pushing that Joseph is the father so hard when there's more evidence that Joseph is not the father? This is what we're trying to lay the case out. If you want to be objective and you're not going to be bullied and intimidated to accept someone's position, there's more evidence that Joseph is not the father than it is for evidence that he is the father. So I don't even understand why they're pushing this doctrine so hard when it got holes in it all the way around. Like, if this was a boat, y'all be sunk already. Like, really, we can end this class right now. We just pulled out, 4 King James, the Hebrew, and then the Syriac, and then 3 other. We just pulled out like 6 witnesses that's saying Joseph didn't touch her. Now, pull out me a witness that says Joseph did. Can you find one, whether it be tainted or not? Can you find one witness that says Joseph touched her? And I'm getting ahead of myself, but even in the Talmud doesn't even say Joseph was the dad. You would think the Talmudists would take the opportunity to say, yeah, Joseph, everyone knew Joseph slept with Mary. They don't even say he's the father. They put it on some Roman soldier. If you get the Talmud, and I hate even referencing that because they're so wicked, but they say that Mary had an affair with a Roman soldier, and he's the true father of Messiah. But again, if y'all so sure it was Joseph, why don't the Talmud, the ones who hated him, the ones who strung him up, why don't they say it was Joseph? They even had to bring in a third character. This is all the stuff people ain't asking questions.
Joseph, he was clean.
Yeah.
He was clean out there.
Joseph let it know I had nothing to do with this.
That's why he was stressed out when he found out she was pregnant. What you mean you pregnant?
And two, like I don't want to put this ain't on record as far as your lesson, because it was just information that was brought to me from extra biblical sources.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that I've seen and went over tonight, the extra sources is definitely corroborating with it because, it's possible. I haven't verified it, but we just talked.
Mm-hmm.
Mary was dedicated from the temple, and they cast lots, and Joseph was chosen to be espoused to her.
He didn't even want to.
He didn't even want to.
So if she was chosen and dedicated and had a covenant on her from the priest in the temple, when he couldn't have slept with her before the time permitted or the ceremony, because the people in the temple would have charged him and had him dealt with. We know what would have happened. Yeah, he would have been killed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also why he had to go back and think about these things, because he's like, okay, well, I don't know how she did this. Then I'm responsible for it. Now they're going to still look at me regardless of what happens. And I don't want nothing to happen to her. See, you got to take, like Reggie was saying, in that time in Israel, Yahshua, a virgin is like finding gold. So if you disrespect or mess up that situation with a virgin, and they're young, she's young, right. She's a young woman. Right. He already had a wife and children. So if he would have messed up that situation on his own volition, he knows I'm dead. Right. And that's why. And then even what you was bringing out, we didn't show it. This ain't a part of the lesson, but if the Talmud, they didn't even charge him. Right. Because nobody could find charges on Joseph.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to, for you pro-Joseph adherents to say, even his disciples knew Joseph was the dad. And like his disciples were just coming out of idolatry and all this stuff. But the Talmudists who killed him, the ones who killed him, when they wrote their Talmud, the Mishnah and the Gemara, when they wrote their records down, they finally wrote their oral laws down, that abomination, they didn't even say Joseph was the dad. They had to bring in a third party. So I didn't want to bring in extra biblical sources, but I do accept that extra biblical source. But I didn't want to give them too many, you know what I mean? It's already a hard topic. So that's why I didn't bring in those extra biblical sources, because once they say I don't believe that, I don't accept that source, then we really got to move on. So I wanted to deal with the sources they trust and they read from. We're using the sources that they twist, showing you that your story that Joseph is the father has more holes in it than a cheese shredder. And that's just the facts of the case. I don't care who you are, how long you've been teaching, how many followers you got, how many people you done baptized. You're twisting the text. Anybody objective and unindoctrinated, you can see there's more witnesses that Joseph is not the father. Not the father. So thank y'all for that. Now we're going to move on, try to get through this stuff tonight. We are going to get, y'all all right? Y'all good? Lost in translation. So there's been a going back and forth over the years about the word virgin and the translation. And brothers pull these lexicons and they tell you, see, Alma doesn't mean virgin. Alma means a girl of marriageable age. And what you have to remember, family, everything we're getting from the pagans. These lexicons that we're all reading from, I don't care what Drivers Briggs, Brenner, Jeff Benner, or whoever, all these lexicons are coming from pagans. they're called Hebraists. A Hebraist is a foreigner who learned Hebrew, and he's giving you the breakdown of these words. But if these Hebraists, these Europeans, don't learn the hieroglyphs of Israelite language, they still don't know what they're talking about. Most times these Hebraists won't tell you that they stole our fathers' dictionaries and just add to it. So just because you get a lexicon, Strong's, who else out there? Brown Drivers, and what's the one, Blue Letter Bible, it don't matter. You still have to come back to the original hieroglyphs of our culture to understand what these scrolls are saying. To show you, let's go to Genesis 24. Let's go to Genesis 24 and let's read verse 16. Because they tell you, see, Alma doesn't mean virgin. Alma just means a girl of marriageable age. You read that out of a white man's dictionary. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Hebrews 24, verse 16. Read.
You want Genesis 24?
Come. What I say, Hebrews?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Genesis 24, 16.
And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up.
So this is talking about our great-great-grandmother, Rebecca. The text says she was a virgin. And then it has to clarify, neither had any man known her. So that's when the brother's going to say, see, virgin don't always mean pure virgin, because it says virgin, and then it says no man who touched her. If virgin meant untouched, the text wouldn't have to say no man has known her. Remember, these Bibles were given to us by pagans. These Bibles were given to us by pagans. Not one Israelite had anything to do with the Bible you're reading. I don't care which fancy translations you have. I don't care how much money you spent on it. Now, one Bible that you're reading from was given to us by a righteous Israelite. Everything is coming from pagans. So just because it says virgin and then it says no man has known her, you can't say, see, virgin don't always mean pure untouched. Slow down, Skippy. Let's get some understanding. So if you use one of your handy dandy lexicons, that word virgin there is Strong's H1330. And it's the Hebrew word bathala. And that's what these brothers are going to tell you. See, bathala is the word for virgin. Alma is not the word for virgin. Slow down, superstar. Let's go down to verse 43. Genesis 24, verse 43.
Hold on.
Bathala. Wow.
Come, bucko.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, man, I try to be civil, but I'm tired of these all-stars, man. I heard it today watching one of these brothers' channels.
Shabbat.
Hebrews 24, verse 43. Read.
Genesis.
What I say, Hebrews again? Man, I'm going to some good at these Hebrews letters, man. I'm sorry, Slock here. I'm taking out through everything. Genesis 24, verse 43.
Behold, I stand by the well of water, and it shall come to pass that when the virgin cometh forth to draw water, and I say to her, give me, I pray thee, a little water of thy pitcher to drink. And she say to me, both drink thou, and I will also draw for thy camels. Let the same be the woman whom Yahweh hath appointed out for my master's son.
Here's a couple verses down. The word appears again, virgin. But this time, if you Google or you use a lexicon for that word virgin in verse 43, it's a different Hebrew word. It's Strong's H5959, and the word is Alma. So for them to tell you Alma doesn't mean virgin, you got to explain Genesis 24 to me. Why are they using Bathala and Alma to describe virgin? But you done picked up, what's that? You done picked up Zondervan's Bible Dictionary. You got Strong's. These are pagans trying to give you back your culture, and you're swallowing it, trying to debate and cut people down. Y'all just a bunch of Christians as the Sunday's preachers, but you're super Hebrews out there. You're using strangers' lexicons, think you have understanding. Genesis 24, 2 different Hebrew words is given for virgin, and we know Rebecca is a pure, untouched virgin. Else, Abraham's servant wouldn't have brought her back to Isaac. So you got to explain this to me. Why do you use an Alma and Bathala for virgin? Let's get some understanding. So in the Hebrew, if you can't process these hieroglyphs, family, you don't know Hebrew. You don't know Hebrew. It's not being vain. Don't stop getting all sensitive out there. I've never seen so many grown men sensitive until I came into the Israelite awakening. You teach something that another teacher don't see or don't agree with, and everyone gets, everybody think they know everything. Listen, if what you're saying don't add up, do some more research. And if you can prove that brother wrong, reach out to that brother. Stop being too many she-males in this thing. So the Hebrew word Bathala. The reason why they can use the word Bathala for virgin is because the first character on the right side, starting with that upside down G, that's the ba. That's the ba sound. So that means inside. The next character, the tha, that's the inside of a basket. And then that letter that looks like a J, that's the la sound. The very last character, the man with his hands raised, that's the ha sound. We run that together is Bathala. Y'all want to, well, I got the definition on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same definitions on there, but it's when you look at it, and I'm thankful for the Most High just being able to continue to learn this. But to me, because it's all right, but inside the womb leads forth the life or brings forth the life inside. Like the basket to me is representing the womb, is representing the womb, which is housing the seed and bringing forth the life. So that's how I see it. Inside the womb is what brings forth or leads to life.
And you dead on. That's why I love these hieroglyphs. We all can process these pictures, these hieroglyphs differently, but we all come to the same meaning. So a virgin carries her young inside her basket, inside her womb, and she leads that seed to life. So that's what Bathala means.
What I see looking at it, because the la can mean shepherd as well, right? So you see the ba is the in, and just like Shamar said, the basket, the tha, inside the womb is the shepherd spirit.
Because who gives us children? Well, I think Psalm says children are gifts of the Most High. So you see how that's why you say what you want. People make fun of us. We don't know what we're speaking. These hieroglyphs make sense when you understand what they mean. So that's why we can use the word Bathala for virgin, because inside her womb, she's bringing forth, or the shepherd has given life. No matter how you want to slice it up, it's saying the same thing. Bathala, inside her womb, she's bringing forth life. Inside her womb, the shepherd, the Most High, has given her life. Hallelujah.
And that's especially profound if they use these particular writings right here specifically for Mary, because inside her womb was the shepherd spirit.
Come. So yeah. Now you're looking at it. I
was about to say now, when you start talking about them Canaanites, and that's what but everything got to be in context.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I never thought about that. But Bathala should fit Mary more than Alma.
It's just we translate. We don't. The pagans translate, so we don't know.
We don't know, because there's another thing I failed to mention. Just like you and I, we're one generation apart, and y'all have different slang than me. So in Israel, the generations will use different words. So the word Moses used for virgin, Ezra wouldn't use it. And now fast forward to when Hamashiach was born, they probably would have used something totally different.
All those parables that he was using, I was just thinking about this today. All the parables that Yahushua was using was given perspective for the time. So back then it was like agriculture, fishing, stuff like that. In these times, we'll use like sports references or video game references or whatever the case may be, but we'll put it in parable form. But the people of our generation would understand it more just because of the times that we're living in, as opposed to like if you talk to one of these newer kids, 18, 19, 20-year-olds today about farming or anything, they ain't gonna know what you're talking about.
So the next word that they use in Genesis 24 for virgin is alma, right? And alma, y'all want to process that while I look for this verse?
The strength of the shepherd.
Strength of the shepherd. Hey! Let it go, let it go, let it go. So you still going up?
Because the strength of the shepherd. Because you said the other day, I was looking at the mark, because the other day you said the water can represent power as well.
Mm-hmm.
The strength of the shepherd by the power of the spirit, but in the context of
no, right, the virgin. Yeah. She hasn't brought forth life yet.
Yeah, so the strength of the shepherd.
So
blood.
They don't always gotta be shepherd either. You gotta think
leading, guiding.
Yeah, that's how I got it. That's why I was trying to get you to do like a long time ago. Start. You already, of course, more advanced than mostly everybody else, but it can mean so many different things. Like
that's why I say it over and over again. Mm-hmm. I just go through the different meanings.
It's just like a puzzle. Just keep shifting the connotations till it makes sense.
A lot of people get stuck on like staff and lead, and they don't know. That's why for me, I had to go start getting every definition I could to open my mind up, and then I start saying, well, it also can apply to what does the character do in representation. Like the staff can hook an animal and pull it. Like I ain't saying it applies here. I'm just saying that's how we should be thinking. This is hard for me. I think it has been hard from the beginning to try to see how I'm thinking. Like Bathala makes a lot more sense when we're talking about virgins than this. But what I do see, what I see as a totality or a whole is that it's like I'm trying to say it civilly.
Let me help both of y'all out. Look at the picture.
I would say the blood is still like it hasn't been broken. You know what the hymen hasn't been broken is what I see. But I don't know how to
ding 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 ding. That's that. You was dead on. Y'all, these letters can be processed differently. So the reason why they can use the word alma for virgin, let's go to Genesis chapter 37 and verse 7. And I'm gonna pull this up on the screen. Give me time to pull up on the screen. So take a screenshot of that out. Oh, we on the screen. Never mind. Let me do this. I want to share this with the family so they see what we're talking about.
And this is
Shamar, y'all just got it. These letters just help Shamar, y'all figure this out. Let me pull this down. Go ahead. What you got?
Because looking at that now, even though you said alma is a word for virgin, I'm looking at it from the context of hamashiach. And even I can see that as far as if they wanted to refer to Mary as an alma as well, because he's the first of many brethren. So the first shepherd by the blood of the Spirit.
I didn't process that. When you said that about Bathala, I was like, yeah, Bathala fits Mary more. But when you see this, you understand they both interchangeable.
Yeah.
Because what Shamaria just said about the hymen being broke, let's read Genesis 37 and 7.
Can we read all this?
Yeah, it don't matter.
Okay. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheaf.
So let's click on what sheaves means in the Hebrew. Y'all see what sheaves mean? Well, it's being used two different ways. See H4, see 481, binding, and 485, they're closely related, right? You see those words?
Mm-hmm.
Now y'all know these vowels, we don't need this. So alama, but the root right here is at the bottom. ALM, alama, or alma. So binding, sheaves. Let's do the first one. Alma. Y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Can y'all read that?
To bind, to be dumb or to be bound.
To be dumb, to be bound, right? Let's go back to the last one. And let's go check the other one out, right? To be bound, right? Let's check out H45, 485. Oh, that's all it's giving us. All right, so it's saying sheaf as something bound of Israel returning from exile. So the first one gives us more context why we would use Alma for a virgin. And Shemaiah was dead on. Shemaiah was dead on. And it was kind of sensitive for us men to talk about, but binding, Alma, right?
I think if you go down, when you click it, I think there's to tie, to fast, was that?
Where you see that? Right here?
A primitive root to tie fast, hence of the mouth to be tongue-tied. Okay, I was thinking about something else.
But you see how many contexts it could be used?
Yeah, because what I see now if I think about the letters, your strength. So so for a woman, her strength is still bound up, which carries the life. Her strength is still bound up. The strength is still tied up.
Because remember, like you said, Alma, sheaf and Alma is the same thing, or the word for sheaf in Hebrew is Alma, and the reason why they use Alma for a virgin, because a woman a woman who has not been touched, her hymen is binding her pleasure up.
And that's why I feel like that's what that strength has to do with it. Because it's so hard to put that certain parts in the words.
I wish a female was here because she might could say it better. But when a girl is a pure virgin, her hymen has not been touched. Her hymen is protecting her pleasure organ. So her hymen has her bound up. So that's why we can use the word alma, that means sheaf, for virgin, because she hasn't been penetrated. Her pleasure organ, her pleasure I don't want to call it an organ, I don't know what to call it. Her pleasure I don't know, you don't think I'll kind of words for it, but she's bound up because she hasn't been touched. So that's why we can use the word alma for virgin. So you just can't get these lexicons, and alma don't mean virgin. Alma means a girl of marriageable age. And still, because you don't understand Hebrew, you're supposed to be a super duper Hebrew. If she's of marriageable age in Israel, she still should be a virgin anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So even your little lexicon breakdown don't make sense. But again, these brothers get puffed up in their flesh, and now you got innocent people being beguiled, coming out of church or coming out off the streets, and you just indoctrinated more young men and pretty much disrespecting our king. So Alma and Bathala both can be used as virgins in context, both of the words. The next word I want to go to, and we're about done, it's the word begotten. Begotten in the Hebrew is the same word yalad. Yalad can be used for son or to birth. And let's go to Psalms 2 and 7. Let's go to Psalms 2 and 7. We're about done. Psalms 2 and 7, read.
I will declare the decree. Yahweh have said unto me, thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee.
This day have I begotten thee. This is a messianic text right in Psalms. The Most High says, you are my son, this day have I begotten you. And the whole stumbling block for these pro-Joseph adherents. How can the Most High beget a Messiah, and Most High is a spirit, and Most High don't have a body, he don't have sperm, so it had to be Joseph. You don't understand our culture, you don't understand these hieroglyphs. So Yalad in Hebrew is the hand, it's the shepherd's staff, and it's the door. The Most High's hand has led Messiah through the path of life. So no, Messiah, the Most High didn't sleep with Mary. No, the Most High don't have sperm, but by his hand, he brought forth his son into this realm in the flesh. That's what begotten means. And just to show you pro-Joseph adherents that begotten doesn't always mean sperm, let's go to Job 38:28.
Yeah, while he's going there too, it shows like the right arm or the arm of the Most High is Yahushua. He is the shepherd, and he said he is the door. like that's like it's very deep.
Oh my goodness!
And the Most High is using that arm to lead his people.
He don't work in the ride.
He's using his arm to lead the people back on the right path. That's why he's the only begotten son, because we are begotten also. People be like, oh, the language, this language,
it makes sense.
I'm telling you, my mind, things just be going off through the spirit, because you can just see so much functionality. The language, there it is. The language teaches you to function.
Our language family is concrete. There's nothing abstract about the Israelites. So the Most High begotten the Son, his only begotten Son, it means nothing to us. But when we say the Most High Yalad HaMashiach, the Most High Yalad HaMashiach, he brought him forth with his hands to lead his people. So, oh my goodness, man. My goodness, we the people of the book. So, before I read Job 38, because my spirit is bubbling up, how he just processed that. We all can do this once you come back to your heritage. So, before I read Job 38, for my pro-Joseph adherents, if Joseph is the father of Hamashiach, how can Hamashiach be called only begotten? Because Joseph had 3 or 4 boys before Hamashiach was born. So your breakdown makes no sense. And then they're going to twist it. Well, no, he's only begotten because he's only begotten of the Father.
He's begotten of the Father.
Now he's not. So you see how you run them down into a hole? Either he's begotten of the Father or he's not. You can't call him the only begotten son and say Joseph is a daddy when Joseph got 3 other boys. You got to explain these things. Your breakdown got holes in it. Humble yourself down and come back to being a Hebrew. Stop being prideful.
No,
Go ahead.
No, they can't do it. They man, it's crazy. I don't even know what to say. I'm lost for words, but everybody else that's leading people astray, they can't humble themselves, and because of that, they still won't be able to see it, because the Most High won't allow them to, because of that heart condition. Your heart ain't right. That humility is not there. I'm not gonna allow you to see it, and people are just gonna be led astray, which is sad. And when you try to talk to them, you know, whether they're a leader or somebody else that's a teacher, you find yourself frustrated, because they tap dance. They'll tap dance around the truth like Savion Glover and Gregory Hines. They're just gonna tap dance.
Laughing, man. I'm serious. I be sitting here watching these people while I'm working. It's like, are you seriously going to twist that verse like that? And you've been teaching 10 years, 20 years. Like, thank you for that. Job 38, verse 28. Shema, read.
Hath the rain a father, or who hath begotten the drops of dew?
Say that again, huh?
Hath the rain a father, or who hath begotten the drops of dew?
Job is asking, does the rain have a father? Who begot the drops of dew? So just because you read these pagan English words, begot and begotten, or you gotta have sperm to beget someone. Slow down, Skippy. You don't have understanding. You don't know the culture like you think you do. And what blows my mind, I'm trying not to be so short patience with these people, but y'all see their videos and their arrogancy and their cockiness. You see how they present. But y'all teaching Hebrew. You got join the academy. Pay $9.99 three months in a row. You're teaching Hebrew and don't understand what begotten means. Collecting thousands of dollars every year. Beguiling people. So you got me asking, who sent you? Who you really working for? Job is asking, who begot the rain? Who begot the dew? And in your pagan mind, well, he's just making a metaphor. You don't understand the culture. Just like the Most High begets the dew, he begets the sun. Not meaning he had sex with Mary. Not meaning he formed into a body and went into Mary and impregnated her. No. Oh, they try to use these cockamamie scenarios to make you feel small. So you think the Most High morphed into a man and violated Joseph and disrespected Joseph and slept with Joseph's wife? Come on, this is what all that cockamamie scenarios you coming up with. You don't understand Hebrew, so you don't understand the virgin birth story. The Most High begot him. You lied. Brought him forth into this world, into this path of life with his own hand. Joseph did not touch Mary. Y'all got something else?
Yeah, with Joseph being who he is and Mary being who she is, man, I don't know how this just came to me, but it's so simple. We know where our dwelling place is, you know, in the heavens alongside his Father. So he came from, you know, perfection. You know, his original dwelling place came from perfection. It came from righteousness. And when he became a man or became a human being, the same still applied. His earthly mother, earthly father, he still came from decency. So why would he was only placed in a place that was indecent, but none of the places that he come from the earthly parents and his heavenly Father, those places are righteous still. He don't come from nothing jacked up or tainted.
Go ahead, because you all in my notes now. This lesson could be so long. This lesson can really be like 6 months, but I'm just cutting it short because we already just destroyed all their positions. With those texts we brought out, if they're being objective, they don't have a leg to stand on. But what you just said, let's read John 3:18, Ryan. Don't forget what you got. I got so many more notes here, it's ridiculous. John 3:18, this is support what Abishai just said.
Look at you. Look at you.
You know, I'm trying to be like y'all. I'm trying to be like y'all. John 3:18, read.
He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of Elohim.
So you got to explain that. He's the only begotten son of who?
Yeah.
Of Joseph.
Yeah.
You got to explain this, man. All our elders says he's the only begotten son of the Most High. He came from heaven.
I can see it now. They'll say, that doesn't mean that the Most High was the biological father. It means he was chosen he's the only one chosen by the Most High to lead his people. I can see it right there.
And they doing the same thing Christians doing. The same thing these Israelite teachers run the Christians down, add to the text, twisting the text. These Israelite teachers are doing the same thing. That's why I'm saying, y'all, especially y'all new folks out there, don't be intimidated because they're older than you, they know more verses than you, they can speak Hebrew. Ask them for witnesses. When they start doing this extra commentary, ask them for witnesses.
It's hard for a new person too. That's why you're so passionate about it. it's hard for a new person to see the twisting, you know, because you just listening, you know what I mean? And a lot of people are not, you know how our people are. Like, you know, I can just speak for myself. When I was super green, I'm taking in the information, but I'm not regurgitating the information. I'm taking it all in, and then I'm sorting as I continue to see more and learn more. I'm like, well, what I learned 3 months ago was completely wrong, but I wasn't out here speaking and shouting like I knew something. You know, I humble down and just like, I don't know anything. So I see this position, I see that position, I see this position, but inside I still don't know nothing. I'm still learning. Right. But a lot of people, everybody's different. So a lot of people see that false teaching and it sounds to an untrained mind, oh yeah, it must be right because the way this teacher has taught it. That's why the judgment on leaders is a lot harsher than, you know, a person that's being led a lot of times.
That's why I take this seriously when I come before y'all, because I'm not scared of no man. Don't make no mistakes about it. I'm not scared of nobody who put britches on. I'm scared of your king and your father. That's why I fast and pray and meditate and go over these things 4 and 5 times. Say, Father, is this you or this is me? I would much rather sit down before I just start giving y'all what I think it is. Or when I don't have enough witnesses, y'all hear me say, I can't prove this yet, y'all, but I'm trusting y'all because those fellowshipping with us are proving y'all maturing to be Bereans. So I can say some things to y'all and trust that y'all know, go find it out. Because I'm giving you, that's what the word marah means. The word marah comes from the Hebrew word yarah. Yarah is archery. Archery, because when you shoot an arrow, it points in a direction. So the job of a teacher is not to tell you what to believe, and not to it's a guide. It's a guide. So like this class can go on for weeks. I'm just giving y'all enough concrete information to go on. Like I said, I'm not going to touch how we said we can prove the virgin birth. I'm not, because that's Hebrewisms. Those are bakadaf. Those are dark sayings. So to be fair to those pro-Joseph adherents, I can prove the virgin birth in the text because the Most High says, I gave y'all similitudes. That means everything wasn't on the surface. All these histories we got, they were similar. They were given for a reason. But when you get puffed up and you done came up under this elder, now you respect this elder because he brought you out of selling drugs, fornication, homelessness. I respect that too, but that don't mean he can't be wrong. I don't want y'all ever to come in here and because you done learned a lot and now you learn. No, help me teach the people. That's your job as soldiers on the front line. We all help teach the people. And just because I'm the leader here don't mean I can't have something wrong. Didn't I have the head wraps wrong? Did I say you don't know what you're talking about? Don't come here no more with that nonsense.
Well, if you ain't gonna do it like this,
sit down. You'll understand in a minute, son. You'll get it.
You gotta get out.
That's what's going on in these assemblies. These men are using their position of authority to intimidate people. You don't understand what that means. You see? No, I don't see nothing. Read it to me. So let's wrap this up, man, because I could go on for hours. These teachers are really, really getting under my skin with their twisting and indoctrinating. And I don't know why they're doing this with the virgin birth. But the reason why I'm going so hard on the virgin birth, and even though virgin birth is not a salvation issue, because just like they're twisting the virgin birth, they're twisting other topics that are salvation issues. That's what I'm telling these babies. Don't just get on YouTube and just suck up these people's channels. So let's wrap this up.
So while you,
I'm sorry, Demar, you had something.
Just to really just land me back on everything y'all just said regarding that, talking, it goes back to what Red said, or Abishai said, it goes back to what y'all just said, and what you opened up with the precept where Yahweh said straight up from the beginning, I'm the manna that came from the Shemayim. I'm the bread from heaven.
I got all that. I got all that written down.
1 Corinthians chapter 15 has been one of the most prominent chapters I've read this pagan year regarding this walk as far as the stage that I'm at personally. I'm starting to notice how even a lot of our brothers and sisters in this walk are still carnal. even when it comes down to the virgin birth, Yahweh just needed a clean vessel where the spirit of the Most High, his spirit can dwell.
Why? Because the Most High obeys his own laws. So for his spirit to dwell here, he had to be like us. And there's more to it, but go ahead.
So the I ain't gonna say it doesn't matter, because it does. That was his word. He said a child is gonna be born of a virgin. But it's just the body, the spirit is what we should be paying attention to. Because when all this flesh is passed away, what's gonna be left? The spirit. And that's what we working and striving towards getting back to. But unfortunately, the carnal is gonna find the spirit and things that the spirit's discern as foolishness. That's why, not only because the same people that look at the virgin birth and want to create discord with it are the same ones that look at the law and don't understand that even the law is spiritual. So when you see people that have like discrepancies like this, you got to be extra critical and pay attention to them, because it's like, that saying, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So the fact that, Mariah, you come in humility and say, look, we don't know it all. Let's be Bereans and study and do our own scholarship to make sure we all on one accord. We come together, we'll break the precepts down, we'll use Yah's plumb line. That's different than having somebody have an assembly and their word is pretty much the law.
This is what we do it here.
Yeah.
This is what we believe here.
Yeah.
No, this ain't your assembly.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the Most High assembly.
That's not.
I mean, thank you for that. So let's wrap this up, family. Anybody being pro Joseph, Slacky, I'm getting tired. Anybody being objective and go back through, this is our third installment of this series. We're gonna, I'll put them all together under a playlist on YouTube. You go through part 1 and 2 and 3. There's enough information and research. Anyone being objective, you would have to concede that there's more evidence for a pro-Yah creation than it is for a pro-Joseph. The facts of the case, family, Mary's birth was unique. Mary had a birth unlike any other Hebrewess in our nation. No other woman in this world had a birth like Mary, and the text and research proves it. Messiah's birth was a sign. If he had come through Moses, what sign would that be? Why would the 3 holy men come? Why would the elder hold him up inside the temple? What way would they know that this baby is special if he came through Moses, if he came through Joseph? You have to answer these questions. Next, you can't call him the only begotten if he comes from Joseph. Joseph had 3 other boys, I believe. I know it was one name was Joe. They call him Jose, or one name was Joseph. One name was what was it? Judas. Judas is his half brother. James is his half brother who wrote the book of James, and then the other name was Joseph. I believe his name was Joe. The Latin text spell it Jose, like Jose. So Hamashiach had 3 half brothers. If Joseph is the father of Hamashiach, you can't call him the only begotten. It don't line up. And then point 4 for these pro-Joseph adherents, no writings, whether they be fake or authentic, ever mentions that Joseph is the father. We just showed you multiple texts that Joseph didn't touch Mary. So my challenge to any pro-Joseph adherents out there, with respect, this ain't about no, we don't do this Israelite beef and chopping heads off. If you got some decorum, please find me a writing, ancient, non-ancient, modern, righteous Israelite, Talmudist. Find me something that says Joseph slept with Mary, and please send it to me. You can't do it. I haven't did it. I haven't found it. If you find it, please. So with that being said, we got more cause to say y'all are stretching things than us stretching things. You have no writing that says Joseph slept with Mary. That's heavy. You have no writing that says Joseph slept with Mary. The Talmudists in their writings don't even say it. So, first witness, Matthew 1:18, says before they came together. Second witness, the Hebrew copy of Matthew, says before he knew her. The third witness, the Aramaic or Syriac of Matthew, when they had not come near one to the other. When they had not come near one to the other. That's our third witness. And then we got three more witnesses in those comparative translations. Each of these doctors took it upon themselves to write their own translations of the Aramaic Peshitta, and they all translated it in different ways, but it's saying the same thing. Joseph did not come near Mary. We have 6 witnesses that says Joseph didn't sleep with Mary. Where's your witness that he did? Besides your captain, your doctor, your Rebbe, besides your pastor telling you that Joseph slept with Mary. Besides y'all twisting things, show me your witness that he slept with Mary. You can't do it. You haven't did it. So if we were keeping score, the records or the writings for pro-Yah position, we have 6 that we presented in this series. The records for pro-Joseph is the father is zilch, goose egg, nada, nothing. That's how we got to put it to you, because y'all out there on social media world so cocky and arrogant, and you're beguiling people. You haven't produced not one witness that Joseph went into Mary. You want to try to associate Isaiah 7:14 and say, see, Isaiah's wife wasn't a virgin, but we got in Isaiah 8, we got that Isaiah went in unto the prophetess. You don't find that language with Mary and Joseph. Find me a black and white sentence, Mary and Joseph slept together. Joseph went in unto Mary. You can't find it. And family, I rest my case. That's the virgin birth, pro-Joseph, pro-Yah. Anybody being objective and not intimidated and not scared to death, that's right. There's more witnesses that Joseph did not sleep with Mary. The virgin birth is upheld. The virgin birth was a sign from our Father that I'm still watching over my nation. I'm still watching over my chosen people, Yahshua. With that, I yield. Any questions, comments, or concerns, family?
You know what? You don't need to hit them with no more. You 6-0, and for our generation, 6-0. That sound like 91, 92, 93, 96, 97, 98. If you get that reference.
Well, say it again.
The Bulls, Chicago.
Oh,
That's you 6-0, man.
All praise be to Abba God. This is not to. I ain't trying to. Like, I love my nation. I love the camps. I love all the assemblies.
But with something else.
Yeah, if we're going to teach, let's teach. If we're going to teach, let's teach. And we shouldn't. Now one of us should be too big to be corrected. And I don't know why, brother, we get offended that you got something wrong. We're the descendants of the slaves. Like, you know, big deal. Like, you know, I didn't know about the head coverings. I got the sisters coming in here looking like Joan of Arc and whatnot, cover their heads up. Like, I didn't know. Ain't no embarrassment. Like, hey, let's correct that. Out came the head wraps. Let's correct that. So, you know, if I'm wrong about this, I'm still open. I'm still open to any pro-Joseph adherence. If you got some dead to rights text, I'm still open to it. And I come back on here and say, hey, Ox showed me this, y'all, and I got it wrong. Joseph is the dad. I'm the son of a slave. There's no embarrassment over here. There's no drug addiction, sex addiction, anything we got caught up in over here, ain't no embarrassment. We're just waking up. We got brothers who were in the first century with a Mashiach, didn't know if he was the son of God or not. And you want to be embarrassed because it's pagan year 2021 and we having like, okay, is he or is he not? But if we're going to be honest with what we got on the table, there's more records left that's saying Joseph didn't touch Mary. Joseph didn't touch Mary.
Yeah, I think it's multiple cases. One, we talking about niggas. Niggas don't. We got pride. We and I call them Mount Sinai niggas. Because as soon as we got to Mount Sinai, we started set tripping. We was over there worshiping calves. The sisters was twerking. Moses was like, "What kind of music is that? I ain't never heard of that before. The 1980s ain't even came yet. And why they sound like they? Why did that sound like rap music? What is that? That's way ahead of its time. We always, whatever we doing now, we've been on that since Mount Sinai.
Yeah, we gotta do the biggest. We're gonna send the worst.
Yeah.
We can't smoke weed. We gotta smoke baseball blunts.
Yeah.
We can't drink a beer. Give me a 40 ounce.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like Judah always gotta do it to the limit.
With an outfit to go with it.
Yeah, and a matching outfit, Newport outfit
to go with it.
Newport socks, sneaks, and everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, I love my brothers, camp or no camp. What you say, assembly, Hannity, Israel, and I don't care who you are. You're not too mighty or you can't be corrected.
Go Christian Lights on Twitter.
Christian Lights, you know. My own elder who baptized me into my name, I love him, but I'm not so indoctrinated I'm just gonna roll with anything. If it ain't adding up, it's not adding up.
Yeah.
If we can't agree to disagree, then we can part ways. But for me, when it comes to a point where, listen, I can prove that this is Babylonish, then we gotta part ways. Now this virgin birth thing ain't one of those things where I can't fellowship with you. I got one of my dearly beloved oxen. Me and him, we ride or die. We still keep building because this is not a deal breaker. But I'm not letting anybody indoctrinate me anymore. I don't want y'all to let anybody indoctrinate y'all.
No. I think there should be no with where I see that even where I am and what we're all trying to do is assemble with those who are trying to get it right, who are actually trying to get it right without fear of what somebody gonna say. And again, we love who we've known. We love who may have brought us in, taught us something. But if to be separated from them in a cordial way means everlasting life, then so be it. Because the Most High wants he got to be choosing the ones that are trying to get it right. Again, how can we say we love him if we don't leave father or mother, this, that, and the other, even if it's those that are already in the awakening? There's gonna always be some separation, and he gonna always gather his sheep, and he gonna always continue to separate them goats, because there are sheep and goats in every kind of fold, you know. So for me, I'm glad I don't have no fear of man like that either. I've never been a follower. I can care less about what anybody say. I love you, but I gotta care about what the Most High and the truth. I gotta care about truth more than I care about you. Because if I care about you, I'm be dead.
I mean, I see brothers y'all age 22, 25, and just getting all praise they off the streets and not selling drugs and all this stuff. But now y'all just making just biggest devils as Christians, like teaching this man-made doctrine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you don't want to be a waste of good human. That's what I like to liken certain people to. A lot of people clean up their life and they become decent, but then you go still end up dead. What now you just gonna die later instead of dying in the streets.
Yeah. Killed off in the wilderness.
Yeah. Because again, that's what I was saying earlier. At the end of the day, that's what this is: life or death. There is no in between when it comes to none of this stuff. So you gotta not be afraid. And the primary thing that we're afraid of is humans are so afraid of other humans because that's all we ever see. We never seen an angel. We never seen the Most High. We never seen Hamashiach. We've never seen it. So all we know is all we know. You know, this captivity, other people, other philosophies, other teachings, other ignorances. That's all we know. So, but when you can see past that, you know, when you become a spiritual man, you know, who can discern and judge anything, you know, when you get to that point, then you start to care more and more less.
From that, I care less who you are, what city, how many ops you got standing with you, how holy, how pious you. I've been doing this a long time. None of that matters to me. Show it to me in writing. Give me your witnesses. That's where I'm at.
Just give me book TV.
Just give me book TV. Come on. Just give me book TV.
Huh?
That's all I got. Y'all got something else closing out?
I was just thinking about what you had brought out earlier, and the only reason I'm bringing it up on the stream is just, you know, Reg can hear it, or Abishai can hear it, somebody may be edified. I was going to save it till after the stream, but when you were talking about how Yahushua was on the boat sleep, and you tied in the Hebraism of how the wind blew and it rocked the boat,
right,
and how it tied into the Ruach, being the Father being angry with us and him causing the storm to come upon us, and he took us by the ships into the foreign nations and the four corners of the earth. And I was thinking about it again today, yesterday and today, and that whole thing is a Hebraism also of just how Yahushua is going to redeem us. Of course, the walking on the water references Genesis 1 and 2, how the Spirit of the Most High moved upon the face of the deep. That's why Yahushua walked on the water. But also, when he caused the storm to be still, the Father's Spirit was angry. He was angry against us, the storm. But in us, in our wickedness and our unbelief, because they thought they was going to die on that ship. So Yahushua, how many times Yahushua say, "Oh, ye of little faith"?
Right.
So him getting up out of the bed and praying to the Father, essentially, he said, "Shalom, be still." He interceded on their behalf, keeping that boat. So I was thinking about that today, man. I said, yo, man.
It's so many Hebrews. It's like when you went into that, I'm the bread of life that came down from heaven. I was at work, like I threw my hands up. Yeah, you do. I could keep going and going and show these brothers. If you don't come back to the hieroglyphs, you ain't gonna catch these Hebrewisms. And so that's why your breakdown's gonna be man-made, because you don't understand Hebrew. And for these assemblies that's actually charging people, and you supposedly teaching Hebrew, I'm like, what are you teaching if you ain't catching these Hebrewisms? That's how it comes off the page. Like Shemalia just got that Yalad. That's what's us coming back to our heritage. That's the Most High doing this, showing us how great we are.
The Most High, he's such a calculus mathematician, methodical, like
Hannibal time on steroids.
It's an ultimate. Go ahead.
He's a well, the calculative people is even if they're not even a mathematician or rocket scientist. He's when I see him put all these different things together throughout mankind, human history, and up until the future, he's like a chess grand champion.
Yeah.
He knows all the moves.
Yeah. What, checkmate in 3? Checkmate in 3.
So what did you you say Yahushua said he was? The what?
The way, the truth, the life.
The bread,
good
the bread of life.
Bread of heaven.
You said he's the bread of life. What now? He's
the manna from heaven.
He's the bread of life that came from heaven, right? What city was he from?
Bethlehem.
By the house of bread. See, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all, like, I'm telling you, the Most High is like now he's putting these things together. Like it's crazy.
Chess grand champion.
Now, but it's in patterns too. The Most High has a pattern. That's why I say it's like once you learn this equation, the Most High gonna keep doing it over and over and over and over and over
again.
again.
That's why it's so important to come back to the language, because just like us, the way we speak now, the slang and vernacular that we use towards one another and not necessarily towards everybody. Just like in the professional environment, our people, we got to speak another language just to fit in as a self-defense mechanism.
Anti-white.
Yeah, exactly. But when we're around one another and somebody from another nation comes in or just so happen passes by, I might be talking to Abijah or Shamar, like, yeah, I'm about to go and do this bid real quick, and then I'm gonna go hit the, you know, whatever the case may be, and they may not even know what we're talking about. So Hebrew in itself is just that.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of Hebraisms and slang and parables, but because we understand, and when we're talking to one another, we get it, but literally the rest of the world doesn't.
Now,
go ahead.
What I didn't know where to cut this off at, because when you went to that bread of life that came down from heaven, that same chapter, he continues and says, your fathers ate manna in the wilderness and they're dead. I'm the manna that came down from heaven. So when you look up that word manna in Hebrew, it's only two characters, the ma and the na. I'm the water that establishes the seed. I'm the living water.
The living water.
Now,
life. What
did they eat from in the garden that got them kicked out?
Forbidden fruit.
The tree of what?
Life.
Knowledge of good.
Now Hamashiach says, y'all got kicked out for eating. Now I'm the tree of life now. All these Hebrews, like, that's why I got notes all over my cubicles. Like, Father, where to cut this off at? Like, this class can keep going and keep going, especially when we get into proving that the virgin birth is in the scriptures. It's just ba'kadah. It's in a riddle. It's in a parable. Man,
That's my mind
you
right there.
Yes, your spirit. You gotta let the spirit talk to you to get that type of stuff.
And that's what I'm saying. These brothers, like Nabari was saying, they're too much in their flesh.
Yeah, they not in the spirit.
Too much carnality, and you can teach a monkey to read, and that's all they. Not to disrespect my brothers, I love them. I go to war. Listen, I'm going on record. I go to war with any brother, whether you be a assemblyman teaching false doctrine, whether you be a camp teaching false doctrine. If you're trying to keep the law to the best of your ability, I go to war with you against a Christian any day of the week. We can discuss our differences behind closed doors. I want to go on record like that. Listen, I stand with a law keeper against my own blood brother. Me and a law keeper, break him down and just run amok over him. I want to go on record. But you get this understanding when you come back to the Rawak. You can't tell me you fasting and praying, but I hear you twisting up verses.
And it comes down, and real quick, I'm sure I don't know if you want to say anything, but it comes down to what the Most High says, seek me. Like, we don't really understand what it means to seek something. And this culture, this whole society, the way the world is built now, is microwave stuff.
Yeah.
Like, give me the answer. I don't feel like going to do the research. I don't feel like studying, and I don't feel like reading. I don't feel like thinking. Because like I said a while ago,
tell me what to believe.
Yeah. The kingdom starts in your mind. You got to think about that thing, and you have to put things into practice before it gets put in your heart. So when it comes to seeking the Father, you have to really be sitting down after reading this information or coming across something, and you got to meditate on it. You got to think about that thing. You got to compartmentalize some stuff and put the pieces together in order for it to make sense. But the only way to do that, you got to make sure you got the pieces. So a lot of times people just don't, and a lot of people don't have the pieces because they don't be for themselves. They just in here, they just own, even like these Zoom calls can be vanity at times. And Mariah Howard said it in Rebirth of the Nation, shout out to y'all, I love y'all. He said teaching can be vanity because a lot of times people don't even want to study for themselves.
Yeah, and I'm like, listen, I want us all, I said before y'all even got here when we had our first group, when we all get on the same page, everyone gets up to speed, guess what we come together to do?
Worship.
Just worship and have a good time and eat some good food. And once we, right now we got new people coming in, so y'all gonna start teaching new people. But when we all get on the same level, we just come together, worship our King, worship our Father, and praise, give honor for the King, and we have a good time. Let's play some dominoes, connect four, pass me that cornbread. That's what it's about. Like, it's just almost work now because we got people coming back to the covenant. I can't wait till everyone get up to speed because ain't no more teaching.
Read the Torah just because we supposed to keep refreshing it, and then as kids come, you always keep reading the Torah, but you shouldn't have to teach that Christmas is pagan. Every year. That those types of teachings will go away, but we'll read the Torah, then we break food, eat, and do all the stuff you just said.
It's almost like a counseling session. Hey, everybody's spirit good?
Yeah.
Well, let's go with these precepts. All right. Y'all doing all right with y'all marriage? Anybody struggling with any spirits of anger, frustration, whatever? Let's read these. Let's go and get some songs in it. Uplift.
Yahshua, you got something out?
The only thing I would say that I wanted to say is it's a system. If I can speak right, it's pride that these people's in the way, bro. They ain't humbling themselves.
That's the vanity that they built the platform based on knowing something that somebody else didn't know. So if you tell them what they knew was wrong, now they're shot down, their ego is hit, and the people that was following them, like, maybe he don't know everything, and that's how they have built that image in their mind.
I know it all.
Yeah, where that ain't even what it's supposed to be all about. That's why if you come humbly, you can just be like, if new information comes out and I may be wrong, then I can unlearn and relearn. If you don't have that spirit to unlearn and relearn, and that's another brother, he talks about it. He was saying that's one of the things that it triggers him is that it's fine to be wrong, but when somebody presents you the information, it's been years and years and years, somebody, like you just showed all the evidence for your position, is showing you that it's more witnesses to pro Most High than pro Joseph. And once the new information is presented, those brothers still won't change their position. Now, then that shows that it's just an indoctrination. That's not spiritually correct. That's not spiritually right. That's something's wrong there. That's what all that is about.
And what I see, reason why I'm not never going to debate. We are brothers in arms. Let's exchange information. If you can help me see, all praises. But I see Christianity, y'all. Here's our tenets. This is what we believe on the calendar. This is what we believe on the feast days. This is what we believe about virgin birth. This is what we believe about baptism. If you accept all of these, you can fellowship with us. Well, what if y'all the only assembly in my whole state, and I want to be with the brothers, but I see something different about baptism? I can't fellowship with y'all, or I got to keep quiet about what I know. How's that righteous? Y'all ain't no different than Christians. And then with the debates, people come in with the debates, and a debate is a sport. It's the winner argument. And this ain't about us winning arguments. This is about us being righteous. We're trying to win souls. So if you can show me, I don't know if you read this, or maybe let me show you how I process this, so we can see which one is wrong, or who have more witnesses. And we both, let's just say this is how we both could be wrong. Say me and you both are wrong about a position, but you got more witnesses for yours. I'm going to go with because you got more witnesses. That's what the plumb line is for. Yahshua, you have something?
Yeah, I was just gonna add that if you are still, no matter how many witnesses, no matter how many sources been given, and you're still not swayed on going with what's correct, then you're low key, not even low key, it's cultish behavior. You know what I'm saying? It's cultish behavior. You're in a cult, or you're perpetuating a reputation of a cult.
Nah. Don't water it down. You just come down straight down the pike with it. Come down. That's a code. That's a code. And like I said too, if like right now, as me and you speak, well, no, they're 8 hours ahead of us. But they're digging in our land right now, family. Like this current, not this hour, but they're finding more stuff in our land. So if they find a relic, if we can verify it, you ain't gonna change your stance. Like you done mastered everything, and this is it. This is my box. I ain't accepting nothing else in my box. Like, that's not what this is about, family.
And realistically, that ties into Mystery Babylon. All this hidden knowledge and secret wisdom. That's why Yahweh said, everything I heard from the Father, I told y'all. I done gave y'all the game. I ain't keeping nothing from you. So you take that, and you know, moving forward, you got some of these people on social media. I can't give y'all everything.
Yeah.
Come join this subscription, and I give y'all.
Got to throw a Patreon to get that.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
Charging people to learn their language,
Like
charging people to learn their history, but you so righteous. Now, I understand if you done printed stuff out. No, I ain't saying that.
Yeah.
Help with
Help
the
me
cost.
cover the cost.
Help me cover the cost.
I
But
get that.
if you put a penny on top of anything,
I don't think you should charge to learn the language, though.
No.
Like that, like some, entertainment type stuff.
right? Yeah,
I agree with
you
it.
gift your music,
But-
yeah.
But not. We lost already. Please help us learn how to speak this. Teach us the language and stuff like that. Like, don't do us like that.
You
Like,
see me choking on Venom, and you want the antidote? Send $9.99 to my Patreon. I got the
that
antidote.
sounds like Lanny Papa. What was that? Pop. They used to just buy a towel, a whole towel. One time I sent something. That was back in 2000 and like
Peter pop off.
pop off. Yeah, I'm trying to peel pop off, and I'm like, I'm just trying to find the most. I'm like, well, is what I'm supposed to do? No, I ain't have $100. I'm like, yeah, I just sent a couple dollars. Like, let me. Then if you seeking, you gonna find. So of course, but I remember like my heart, I'd be like, what is this? I couldn't figure these people on TV out. Like I said, these people really get healed. Like, I don't know. Like, they up there throwing jack. I'm like, that stuff ain't real. But then I'll be like, don't doubt
the Lord.
Don't doubt the spirit. Yeah, so I'm like, hold on, don't doubt the spirit. I'm like, man, I don't know. Like that's what the boys was like, and they had Christ right there. Like, man, this dude doing some wild stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, we don't like. That's why
Christianity does. Don't doubt the prophet.
Didn't Yahweh say something along the lines of, if you see a man, what does it profit a man if he's hungry? And then you walk by and say, may the Lord bless
you.
I'm hungry.
You over there freezing.
Bless you.
I'm almost hashing a fire down. Make sure you get warm tonight.
You done got all these two super chat donations, and now you want to charge people for books you done bought off their money. Like,
They hungry and
my
thirsty for this
goodness.
thing. You charge them more.
Oh my goodness. Well, family, listen, that's all I got, man. Any other closing comments before we wrap this up? I say, Kaya Dala Yahweh Sham Yahweh Sham Malak Nawah. I thank my ox and arms, Ak Mariah, Ak Shamaria, for volunteering their time out to come out and read on this cold winter night. Yashiyah Abishai, we thank y'all. Those who may be on Facebook now or later, we pray the Most High edify you through this study. And as always, we don't know it all. Listen, I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't speak well. I don't read well. This English and Greek stuff to me is hard to read. If you see something we miss wrong and you want to build, want to fellowship, our door is always open. You can send an email to justgivemebooktv@gmail.com or Torah Group number 12@gmail.com. You can leave a comment. Look, people be hitting me and brothers be putting stuff in my inbox about what we teach or about what I post on social media. There's no embarrassment for me. If you're a Christian or Israelite and you got a different position, post it on my page publicly, because I'm not ashamed about anything. I'm not going to start arguing with you on a public forum, but brothers out there been in my inbox for years, over the years. I'm not ashamed. If you think I got something wrong and you can help me, you can post your question or your position publicly. And listen, we can get to the root of it. We can get to the root of it. This is for the nation. This is not about the Torah Group. This is not about Abaya. This is not about Shemariah or Nariah. This is about our nation. So I pray the Most High will be done with this study. And give me a couple of days. I clean all this up, put it on the YouTube channel, and may the Most High will be done. Next week, or y'all willing, this coming Saturday will be Family and Friends Day. Shemariah is going to be presenting, trying to share this true gospel, this true love with our family and friends. So that's this coming Saturday for Shabbat, Family and Friends Day. Y'all willing, next Tuesday night, the same time, will be our Thanksgiving show, showing our family and friends who are ignorantly going into this Thanksgiving celebration, trying to show them that you're celebrating the mass murder, the genocide of your own people. And every year, I ask the question on social media, if you found out that the store in your city, the store owner had raped and burnt your grandmother, would you continue to shop at that store? And that's what a lot of our family and friends are doing, probably ignorantly, but Thanksgiving is celebrating the slaughter, the genocide of people who look like us. The pagans want to call them Indians and then put all kind of false images on your screen. But those Native Americans that these colonizers destroyed, they were our people. They were over here way before any European. So next Tuesday night, y'all willing, will be Thanksgiving. We're going to share some history with you. Of course, we'll marry it with the precepts, showing you that Thanksgiving is pagan, and those people that these colonizers killed, they were our brothers. They were Israelites. So that's all I got. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and may Yah bless you. May Yah shine upon you. Hallelujah.
On my way up.
Shalom.